I have been using Mac OS ever since I can remember, long ago, long before I even lived in the Seattle area. And I'm no stranger to it. Really only started using it with Mac OS 10, or OS 10 is back in the day, now it's just Mac OS. And yesterday, I think, or the day before, Glendon here, was asking about if the M1 still kind of stood the test of time, especially now that the M2 had been released. And he's never used a Mac before, never had a Mac. Well, you can see clearly that has changed. Glendon has a Mac. Congratulations, you got this today.
Yes, I just got home with it 10 minutes ago.
And this is your first Mac ever.
First ever. Never, other than an iDevice, had a Mac of any kind or an Apple device of any other kind.
So what was the reason that you finally decided to make the leap?
I was sick of being curious and seeing what all the hubbub was about. Everybody always saying, well, Mac this and Mac that, and I was like, well, there's only one way to find out.
Yeah, I think.
And I needed a laptop for various reasons, and I thought, what better time if I need one than to go ahead and take the plunge.
Makes sense. That's kind of exactly why I kind of went down that path as well. If only to know. My curiosity got the best of me.
Exactly. So, that's more or less my whole reasoning behind this, is because curiosity got me.
And Glendon has been helping out with the new Locker Gnome efforts. As you can see, I'm streaming this live on the Locker Gnome YouTube channel 24/7. You're more than welcome to join. We've got a Discord server you could get more information on, and we just set up a community Minecraft server for people to play Minecraft together and stream it here in the Locker Gnome live feed. Again, 24/7. This is the new effort. So that's Glendon is going to be using his computer to help Locker Gnome. This is
I am.
That's the idea. Although it's his, it's all his. It's not Locker Gnome's. I did not twist his arm. He did it on his own volition.
I did.
And I'm happy with my PC and my Mac and my Android device and my iPhone, which I'm using to stream the game. All right.
I'm the same way. I will have one of everything.
You know what? And here's the thing. That's actually really nice. It's nice to have one of everything.
Yeah, it is.
There's something to be said for everyone who loves living in one ecosystem or another. There's also a benefit in being able to try different things, across the board. I don't want to belabor, this conversation even further. You need to dive in. You need to get your hands on the Mac.
I will do that. Okay. Right.
You've certainly unboxed things before.
Yeah. This is the typical
see how
Mac cellophane. Look at that.
Only Apple can make cellophane that transparent.
A handle on your cellophane.
But I've seen that before. But Apple does it in a certain way.
They do.
It's made in Cupertino. I'm sure at some point they're actually going to stop distributing with that kind of plastic, if only because it's not recyclable. Oh, you're not going to hold on to that? Some people hold on to that.
No.
Some people
not at all. So I'm not gonna flip it over and show the serial number or anything. So.
No, yeah, I wouldn't do that. I don't think the resolution on the camera here in StreamYard would show it. It'd be too far away. That'd be too far. We, like I said, have a few people who are tuned in. Other Files asks, do you suppose they still have box parts like they lacked with their 2012 MacBook Pro? That's something that I didn't hear come over on Glendon.
No. If it was silent but deadly. I didn't hear anything.
Right. Speaking of silent but deadly, my 3D printer's going ham on these Valentine's hearts that I'm making for Jedi's classmates. I'm gonna stop it. Give me a second. It's upstaging you, so I can start the reprint soon. All right, so you've removed. So what is it? Is that a cable?
This is the cable, and it's actually braided, and it's a MagSafe. That's one of the reasons that I went with the Air over the 13 Pro, is because this has MagSafe, which means I don't have to tie up one of the Thunderbolt ports for charging.
Yep.
I still have both of those available to me while I need to charge if I need to.
See, I think. Do I have the MagSafe? I don't know. Here, let me put it this way. I probably do. But right. I don't like running cable, and I only have one on my MacBook Pro, I only have one Thunderbolt cable going into the dock to power it, and so I've only got one cable going out instead of having the port and the Thunderbolt port being used and the charging port. It was just as easy to get a high capacity cable and use that. But you got the flexibility, so
right. So it does match the MacBook. I went with the midnight blue. It's a really dark blue, almost a black if you look at it.
See,
I'm gonna go through the accessories first.
Yeah, you got to read all that too. You can't. They don't like you booting up Mac OS for the first time unless you've read everything in the terms.
Right. Well, we may not have time for that because I'm not waiting.
Yeah. I wouldn't. I'm basically reshuffling all my prints from the past couple of days here, hence me throwing around these little hearts.
And then we've got the charger, of course.
Mm-hmm. And that should be. I don't know if the Air gives you a fast charging option, but it would probably be an upgrade.
Mm-hmm. It does give you the fast charge option. The good thing about it is I already have a 90 watt USB-C fast charger here, so
okay.
I've got the 35 watt that came with it, plus the other option for fast charging already. So.
Oh, good.
All right, I think that's everything. Yep, nothing else in there. Let's set this to the side.
I hope this recording's coming across okay. I tried something new.
Yeah, I do too.
If not, yeah, we did it live.
We did.
Oh, yeah,
very nice. Blue? Yeah, it's very, very dark blue.
Gosh, the camera's not even translating here.
Yeah, it's not. You can kind of see it there, but it looks more of a carbon. But it is a dark blue.
Yeah. Okay. See, the thing is, you notice one thing. As you lifted the lid...
I know. I was wanting to do that more than anything, that the bottom didn't try to lift up on me.
You didn't have to even touch the base.
I wanted to do that on purpose, just to see.
It's true. I mean, that's engineering right there. And, of course, the notch. Now, I tell you, that notch is less prevalent when you go dark mode and then you either hide the taskbar or just go solid taskbar dark mode. Like that's. And are you a dark mode guy?
I am a dark mode.
Okay, then you're gonna love it.
Yep.
So this is the setup. I mean, the color looks nice out here. I would have gone. I don't think they had like a super dark option for me, unfortunately. The darkest is a. I know some people have the colors memorized and everything, but like it is not silver. It's the shade darker than silver.
Galaxy gray.
Yeah, something like that. I lose track because here's the thing. Every company has a different color and a different name for the color, and they're all like about the same. And in my head, I'm just like, I don't know that. Now you
this
make
trackpad, nice.
Make sure you're choosing all the right options here. And if you need to take it off screen for a second, feel free.
Yeah, I will I can just turn it. It's fine. I don't need to take it off.
So, I don't know, what was I going to say? I cannot remember. Oh, yeah. I was going to say something sarcastic, and I lost the thought. I was like, make sure you don't make any mistakes when you're doing this, because you can't go back.
What you put in is it. That's
exactly. No going back. Glendon, you can either start it by opening the laptop or hitting any key button to start it. Just what I've learned. That's from Everlast. You can.
Okay.
Granted, when you opened the lid for the first time, it was designed to just kind of do that. Which is easy enough. So yeah, it's got to be somewhat different for you. The interface is going to take some getting used to. Keyboard shortcuts are going to take some getting used to. I gotta tell you, in someone who moves back and forth between Windows and Mac OS frequently, the thing that drives me the most nutty is the keyboard shortcuts, because I'm a keyboard shortcuts guy.
Yeah, I am too. So I'm actually going to have to get a Mac keyboard, I guess.
Really?
To go along with this if I need one, because, well, I build keyboards, so I'll need to at least reconfigure and make sure I got keycaps with both options. Okay. Migration assistant. I've not got anything.
Yeah, I don't think you're not really migrating anything.
No.
And honestly, I don't think, even when I was moving from one Mac to the next, I did not migrate anything. I just went fresh start. And I tend to prefer to go fresh starts.
Okay.
Personally. But like I said, it's inconsequential, especially if you've not had a Mac before. There's nothing to transfer apart from maybe iOS. Maybe if you had some iCloud settings that would have been transferred over. So now my fan has gone off. I probably should have just turned it off straight up.
Okay, so I just logged in with my Apple ID, so it's asking me to confirm on the phone here.
An important step. Now you're on Android or iOS?
This is an iOS.
Okay.
It's an iPhone 13.
Okay, well, then you're actually going to have a lot more fun.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, because the iPhone and the Mac were kind of increasingly designed to work together.
Okay.
I mean, for example, I think you can do continuity camera with that iPhone. I don't think that's just the latest gen iPhone. I think most recent iPhones can do continuity camera.
Yeah, I think so.
I haven't looked into it too deeply. There are other things like being able to open an app on one device and then have it carry over to the other. Clipboard sharing. I don't think you do like screen. Well, AirPlay would work. Yeah, you can do AirPlay between the iPhone and the Mac. There are certain features that you now have access to. If the iOS device is your driver.
Right. It's my daily driver.
Those are the features I lost. I can't say that I missed them enough to go back to it, but that was that's something you'll get to explore, and that'll make you probably appreciate it more than if you were just using it as, it's just a Mac, right? In an array of devices.
And I have a iPad Pro 12.9 also.
Okay, so then you are going to be able to do the a whole bunch of stuff. Maybe,
yeah.
Okay, so this is your first Mac, but definitely
first Mac, not my first bout with Apple. Not even
you're
close.
Gonna, honestly, the learning curve is going to be so low for you.
Okay. All right, so it's setting up the account.
Yeah, it shouldn't take too long. Well, you'd be limited on probably your internet connection.
I have gig, so hopefully it won't take too long, and it's 60.
I do too. Now, so 2 gig.
Now, 2 gig. Yeah, go ahead and make sure you throw that second gig in there.
I don't. Here's the thing. I wasn't sure. I think the 2 gigs is more for overhead for every other device on the network.
I would say so.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you got to see some diminishing returns at some point.
And I think I really felt like when I was like loading like a resource heavy page, like I went to Facebook and tried it, and I was like, okay, that's about the speed for this. I noticed virtually no difference in moving from 1.25 down to 2 gig down.
I would say not.
So yeah, that could be down to the speed of the system, because that can impact rendering time, the speed, especially single core speeds. That coupled with of course the speed of the remote network, but just jumping from the 1.2 to 2 down, minimal impact, and this was on a wired connection. I'm possibly looking to see if I can get a review unit for some Wi-Fi 6E access points for better throughput. But if I can't, I'm just gonna. I feel like I'm just better off waiting for Wi-Fi 7 to be ratified next year and then upgrading to that. Even though I know it would be better if I had, the incremental, but it's a law of diminishing returns because the only person who's going to see a value of that is me on maybe one device. It doesn't make sense.
Right.
Doesn't add up. Where are you at now?
Touch ID.
Oh, okay. That's right. You get a lot. Well, I wouldn't say that's all that special anymore. I mean, a lot of laptops out there come with
biometrics.
Mossed up, hoping to have one in a few months. I'm telling you, it's a leap depending on where you're at. You haven't even gotten to the fun of exploring, although I'm not sure. It's been so long since I've really set up a brand new Mac that I'm kind of like used to, or this is where this is where that is. My bigger concern about Mac OS in general has been, and this probably plays to your favor, it's the iOSification of Mac OS that it's starting to kind of drive me nuts. But given that you're a fresh Mac OS user, you probably won't see a lot of the same shortcomings, shall we say, as I've seen.
Okay, so I'm gonna take the screen down for a second.
Okay.
Got to put some information up here.
Yep. He's gonna pop off for a second.
Yep, just for a moment.
His audio's still there. Mazda currently has 2 ASDL lines, about 40 meg each. Wow. I had DSL once, and it was fast. Contemporaneously, I had so I went dial-up to ISDN, and ISDN was great. The ISDN was like the first time I felt like I experienced broadband, and then cable became available, and then that was fast. But this was back in the day where, like, it was so. I mean, how I did it, I don't know, but like home networks had to be configured like manually. Like, it was not like, we're talking like, this is pretty much like pre-Wi-Fi days. It was so not easy to do. Oh, I remember those days. And then DSL after that, but that was in a different location, and that was fast. It was reasonable. And then cable after that, and I've been cable ever since, basically. So I couldn't. I don't know. I mean, there's no options for fiber in our area right now, unfortunately.
There's not for me either. Not in my neighborhood yet. It would have been just the same type of boat that you're in. Yeah, we can get you fiber if you want to pay for it.
Exactly.
No, I'll wait.
I'll wait. It's just like incremental, just bit by bit, one by one.
Okay, let me pull you guys back up here again. All right, so now I'm at the desktop. What do I do now?
Well, hey, that's up to you. Start clicking things. Start moving things around. Now, you didn't get a ProMotion display, did you? You just get
this is just the 60 hertz. It doesn't. You don't get the option until you go up to the new 14 for the ProMotion display.
Yeah. See, that would
14 or the 16. I wanted it, but at this point in time, if I'm not even sure if I'm going to like it, which I probably will, I just didn't want to bite the bullet right up front. And
no, that's fine. I mean, especially not knowing.
I'm going to miss it, though. The 120 hertz, because I have it on everything else.
It's not... It's noticeable, but it's not...
It doesn't feel laggy. Just using it. And this trackpad, oh my God.
What?
This is a nice trackpad.
Yo, it is nice. Everything you're in experience generally should be nice. What should we have him open first? What's the?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, like.
Yeah, chat. What should I open first? I might need to plug it in.
Okay, so here's an idea. Like, load up a web page you'd normally load up on your PC, because this to me is like, I feel a benchmark of the responsiveness of a system. Like, wow, that launched instantly, or that loaded way faster than I was used to. Cut the rope. Yeah, the old cut the rope test from eons ago. Why not? So yeah, just go to a web page, do a quick something, go to a site, and does it feel different? Does it feel the same? I don't know what you're coming from, but to me,
God,
browsing,
that's quick.
Okay.
That's super quick. That's quicker than my desktop.
Okay, so that was to me a good benchmark. So you loaded up. It looks like Entertainment Earth.
Yeah.
Naturally. Hey, we got an affiliate link for it too, but that's a great place to load because it's tons of graphics.
Yeah, and it was instantaneous.
So yeah, like I said, kind of do things that you might normally do on the desktop, and to me, it's always like browsing the web. Everyone browses the web, and this to me was probably the most dramatic difference when I started using the M1. Is it was snappy, and some of that snappiness you just kind of get used to, like at least with your current speeds. And that was the thing, is like as soon as I jumped to 1 gig last week, it was just like things are snappier again. Like I didn't realize they could have been this snappy, but they get snappier with you have more bandwidth you're able to throw at it. So scrolling perf is going to be different because you're at 60 hertz.
Yeah. It doesn't feel like 60 hertz. It feels like it's more than that.
Yeah, there's something about it. Like I said,
I don't know what wizardry they're doing, but
there's definite differences with scrolling on 60 versus 100 or 120. But that said, sometimes I'll be doing something and playing around with it, and then like, wait a minute, something's not right. I'm like, oh, the monitor reverted to 60. You don't have to worry about that, but there are some bugs.
No, right. But I mean, there's no tearing, there's nothing, there's no blurring, there's no ghosting.
No, it's going to be a higher quality screen for sure. And you can go into the display settings, so we can jump you in there. Yes, John Bogansky was asking if it was an M2, and it is.
Yeah.
So instead of, you don't have control panel, you don't have system settings, but if you go to the Apple in the upper right hand corner,
I feel really stupid, but how do you actually close is it the?
Okay, so here's the thing. You could either hover over the X in the upper left corner and close the Windows session.
Okay, I see the 3 dots
there. Open, or here's what I do to make sure I'm quitting. Command Q.
Command Q?
Command Q quits the frontmost app. It's the frontmost app in the menu bar. I mean, you kind of get used to it, but in the menu bar, if you don't have it always hidden, because you can always hide the menu bar. You can also hide the dock. That's at the bottom.
Right. So the dock is this at the bottom?
That's the dock. At the top, that's your menu bar. So you can basically always tell what foreground app based upon the name that's listed right after the Apple logo in the upper left hand corner. So right now you're probably in Finder.
Yes, it
Finder is the equivalent of Explorer.
Okay.
So there are a few settings in there we can dive into. I mean, we're not going to do a full deep dive here, but there are things to tweak that might make things better for you. It just depends on, I wish it did this, or I wish something like that happened. Just ask questions, and there may be a setting that we'd want to go through. What I was going to have you do is click the Apple logo, and then System Settings, which is right after About This Mac. This is basically your control panel.
System Preferences.
Oh, you haven't updated. This is... Okay, so yes, System Preferences. Yeah, you're on an older version of Mac OS. Okay, so you've got it updated to Ventura. Not that that'll be different on Ventura. So I wouldn't get too used to this. I would upgrade to Ventura.
Okay.
It's the latest one. It's been out for a bit. They're up to what point revision are they up to? 13.2. So they got a couple of point revisions under their belt. It shouldn't take too long to download and install. But yeah, that is going to... It's not going to change the interface all that much. They just added the features like continuity camera, right? Mm-hmm. Or smaller incremental features to default system apps like Mail and Notes and what have you.
Gotcha.
So that would be smart. Before you get to tweaking anything, I would definitely upgrade to the
okay. I will do that.
But anyway, so that's where you would find that's control panel, and you can use search from within there. Another quick shortcut for you: Command Space.
Command Space.
Yeah. and that opens up Spotlight search. So that's how you search your Mac.
Right. Okay.
You type in, I don't know, Safari, SAF, and then it'll populate the list, and then it'll say, oh, Safari's right there. Or you can customize the options in that list as to, in those system preferences, you can decide, oh, I don't want to see mail show up, or I don't want to see documents show up when I do a Spotlight search.
Okay.
You can toggle a lot of that there. But use Command Space if you're hunting for an icon or like a preference. That might deep dive you directly to where you need to go.
Okay.
Those are probably the top level things. And like I said, if you run into a thing where you're thinking, I wish it did something, and it doesn't, ask, because it probably does. Or we can kind of talk through that. Yeah, Jen, this is his first Mac.
Yeah, first ever. Yeah, I'm a total noob, Jen.
And it is the 13-inch MacBook Air.
Yeah, the M2 Air.
Yeah,
yep.
Air. Which is very lightweight. I mean, it's a good system. I would have no problems in recommending that as a quote unquote.
And I was going to, and like I was explaining, you were resetting your system whenever I was talking to chat, but I was going to get the 13 Pro. But once I got there to the Apple Store and looked at the differences in the screen, the quality of the brightness on this is higher. It goes up to 500 nits as opposed to 400 on the Pro, the 13 Pro. The resolution is a little higher because you don't have the bezel around the side because you've got the notch. It's got the MagSafe charging, which I liked, as opposed to the 13 Pro not having it, because it frees up 2 Thunderbolt ports at the same time. That way, if you're charging, you don't have to sacrifice one of those ports or get a hub, which I'll probably still do anyway. And the webcam is now 1080p on this one instead of 720.
Right.
Excuse me.
How much?
And then it's the new design.
It was so like
it's not a wedge design anymore. It's the design like the Pro that you have.
Oh, right. This was around 1,000, a little over 1,100.
This one was right at $1,200.
Okay.
And some change. Yeah. So
but,
not bad.
It's lightweight. It's snappy. It's not
very lightweight.
Spec'd out, but it would be enough, I think, to give you a really. That's the thing. It's enough to give you a decent experience.
That's extremely lightweight, and it's extremely snappy just from what I've seen so far.
You're gonna find that I feel that apart from like heavy crunching of things, like I said, to me the testament is open a web page, try a web page,
right?
Because that's what you're gonna be using anyway. And I mean Chrome, you may want to do some tests side by side. I actually switched when I went to the M1 Max. I switched from Safari to Chrome just because I found Chrome actually rendered pages faster than Safari did at the time.